You ever have one of those moments when your whole life turns upside down because your neighbor just can't mind their own business? Yeah, that happened to me, and it started with a 911 call. Not even kidding. Picture this. It's a quiet Saturday morning, sun's just peeking over the hedges. The only sound is me wheeling a dolly across our porch, helping my wife, Sophia, unload some cardboard boxes from the trunk. I'm halfway through balancing this box labeled in big, black letters, VA records, casework, when suddenly, this voice slices through the air like a siren. 911. This is an emergency. She's carrying classified files. I can see the government seals on those boxes. Now, I'm not talking about some distant shout. No, this is Leah Gray, brand new HOA president, self-appointed neighborhood warden, shrieking into her phone at the end of her driveway. She's pointing at Sophia like she's caught her red-handed smuggling secrets out of the Pentagon. I swear, I could feel every curtain in Willow Creek twitching. Neighbors peeking out, phones popping up, because of course, nothing gets the blood pumping here quite like potential federal crimes on your cul-de-sac. But let me back up a sec. It wasn't me Leah was calling about. It was Sophia, my wife, the calmest person you'll ever meet, with 20 years in uniform behind her and a quiet strength that's hard to shake. She stood there, arms full of boxes, hair pulled back, barely a flicker in her eyes. Not that Leah cared. She just doubled down, still hollering into her phone. Yes, officer. Right now? She's moving classified government documents into her house. I felt my stomach drop. 3 weeks in Willow Creek. That's all it took for the circus to roll up right to our doorstep. We'd baked pies for the neighbors, mowed our lawn, even waved to folks as they walked their dogs. But all it takes is one person to light a match, and suddenly the whole street's on fire with rumors. Before I can set the dolly down, here comes the cavalry, a sheriff's cruiser rounding the corner, lights flashing against those neat brick homes. You could feel the neighborhood holding its breath. Sophia, cool as ice, sets her box down, straightens her back, and waits. I'd seen that look before deployments, before hearings. She's not rattled. The deputy steps out, tall guy, mirrored sunglasses, hand near his belt, just in case. Leah pounces, jabbing her finger. That's her. Look at those boxes. Evidence of something illegal. Search her house immediately. The deputy's eyes land on Sophia, and for a split second, something shifts. He takes off his sunglasses, blinks, then, like a scene out of a movie, snaps to attention and salutes. Major Bowman. Ma'am. The crowd, the whole show, just gasps. Phones tremble as folks try to record, realizing they're seeing something they don't understand but can't look away from. Sophia returns the salute, crisp, measured. Habit doesn't fade, even after the uniform's retired. And Leah? She's just silent. First time since we moved in. I step forward, set my hand on the box, and, in the most deadpan voice I can muster, say, "Welcome to Willow Creek, honey. Looks like we've made an impression." The deputy drops his salute, gives Sophia a nod, and then, real cold, turns to Leah. "Ma'am, I suggest you put that phone away now." Yeah, that was the beginning. The day Leah Gray declared war on us. Everything changed after that. The surface stayed calm, kids on bikes, sprinklers ticking, folks mowing lawns, but you could feel it, like static in the air before a storm. Leah? She went quiet. Not the good kind of quiet, the kind where you know she's plotting her next move. Sophia just kept doing her job. Every night after supper, she'd vanish into her study, desk lamp burning late. I'd bring her tea, watch her typing, steady as always. One night, I caught a name on her screen, Diego Morgan. It stopped me cold. "Morgan, isn't that?" she nodded. "Leah's husband." And Sophia, the one who never hesitates, actually paused. "His death benefits." Landed on my desk at the VA. And Dean, things don't add up. That was when the air in our house got heavy. Leah hadn't freaked out over those boxes because of what they were. She was afraid of what they contained. The next morning, I'm grabbing the mail, and there's Leah, just standing there across the street, eyes sharp as knives, daring me to look away. I didn't. Later, Harold Dawson, HOA treasurer, reserve officer, a guy who trusts numbers more than people, shows up at my door, folder under his arm. "There's something you ought to see, Dean. 3 years worth of HOA contracts, prices doubled, money gone. Every signature? Leah's. And here's the kicker. The payouts line up with the time she collected Diego's life insurance. That night, Sophia closed Diego's file, hand resting on his name. Dean, I don't think Leah just stole from the HOA. I think she stole from the government, from the very memory of a soldier. It sank in, slow and cold. Leah Gray wasn't just a loud neighbor. She was sitting on a secret. Willow Creek's monthly HOA meeting. That's where the real action happened. Beige clubhouse, cracked parking lot. Inside was all the drama you could ask for. This time, Harold laid it all out. Expenses, contracts, every dollar, pointing straight at Leah. People started whispering, shifting in their chairs. Leah tried to shut him down, but Harold just kept going, laying out every inflated check, every missing deposit. The room was tense enough to snap. Leah, still holding on to her last thread of control, said, "If you don't like how I run things, find somewhere else to live." But the fear was there. You could see it. And I realized she wasn't fighting for pride or power anymore. She was fighting for her life. It got ugly after that. Flyers under doormats. Do you know who your neighbors really are? With a grainy photo of Sophia carrying a box. Whisper campaigns, emails about vigilance, and activities outside our community values. People stopped waving, stopped inviting us to block parties. Some crossed the street to avoid us. Leah's strategy was clear: isolate us, make us the enemy so nobody would question her. But cracks were starting to show. Harold found emails from Leah to a contractor. Just process it. No questions. Funds covered by who knows what. Sophia called it, "She's desperate." Desperate people make mistakes. We watched as Leah's control started to slip. Neighbors got suspicious, started whispering for different reasons now. Then one night, it happened. Camera pinged my phone, motion in the backyard. Two figures, one unmistakably Leah, creeping through our yard. She was looking for the boxes. We watched, silent, hearts pounding, as she tried the doors, pointed to the study window, orchestrating someone else to do her dirty work. Sophia, always the tactician, said, "We set the trap. Let her walk right into it." We planted decoy files, coordinated with Harold and a deputy. That night, Leah made her move. Key in the door, sweat on her forehead, muttering to herself as she rifled through the papers. They can't know. Diego's file. It wasn't supposed to exist. Sophia stepped out of the shadows. And yet, here you are confessing. Harold appeared, badge raised. Leah tried to run, but the fight had drained out of her. "I just wanted to survive," she whispered. "But survival at that cost?" The deputy led her away in cuffs. "But words can be twisted," Sophia warned. So, we needed it in writing. We set another trap, an administrative form, bland and official. Leah, desperate for a way out, signed it, not realizing she was sealing her own fate. This time, when the officers came, she didn't fight, just stared at the ground as they led her away again. The trial was something else. The courthouse packed with neighbors, veterans, folks who'd kept their heads down too long. The evidence stacked high: forged checks, doctored VA documents, gambling debts, stolen benefits. But the real blow came from Maria Morgan, Diego's sister. She read letters Diego had written, letters filled with hope, fighting to get better. The jury heard the truth in her voice, saw the forgery for what it was. Leah tried to explain: debts, desperation, pressure, but the judge cut through it all. "You betrayed your neighbors, your community, and the memory of your own husband." Sentencing was swift: prison time, restitution, banned from any position of trust. When the marshals led Leah out, nobody cheered. We just sat there, letting the weight of it settle. Maria squeezed Sophia's hand. "Thank you for giving Diego back his voice." After that, Willow Creek changed. Harold became HOA president, opened the books, let sunlight pour in. The community breathed again. People stopped by to thank Sophia. Pies, flowers, even a folded flag left on the porch. She never made a show of it, just kept doing the work. Maria brought Diego's things, photos, medals, and together, we built a memorial garden near the clubhouse, a place where truth could finally take root. The day we dedicated it, everyone came. Kids placed flags, veterans stood in silence. Maria spoke about strength and standing together. And for a while, there was peace. The HOA became what it should have been: transparent, fair. Neighbors laughed. The sidewalks felt safe. Sophia kept working, and the VA noticed. They started sending her tougher cases, fraud, forgery, shadows that ran deeper than Leah's greed ever did. At night, I'd find her poring over files, photos, forged signatures, families cheated out of what was theirs. It turned out, Leah was just a small part of something bigger, a web of shell companies, fraudulent claims stretching across states. What if Leah wasn't the mastermind? Sophia asked one night. Maybe she was just a pawn. The realization hit hard. Every victory seemed to reveal a new layer of darkness. Calls with silence on the other end, strange cars parked too long. We learned the difference between coincidence and warning. But Sophia never backed down. Sometimes justice isn't about winning. Sometimes it's just about showing up, so the truth has a fighting chance. The neighborhood changed too. Kids playing in the garden, neighbors sharing stories, people treating Sophia like a quiet hero. Still, we knew shadows lingered. One night, before Sophia left for a conference in Washington, we sat on the memorial bench beneath Diego's oak. No matter how deep the lies go, truth always finds its way up, she said. I wanted to believe that. I needed to. As she drove away the next morning, I watched her taillights fade and caught a light burning in Leah's old house. Empty, but somehow still watching. Willow Creek had weathered one storm, but I could feel it. Bigger clouds were gathering. The fight wasn't over, not by a long shot. So here's the thing. Justice isn't always dramatic. Sometimes it's quiet. It's neighbors sitting shoulder to shoulder, a garden blooming where secrets once festered. It's a community refusing to let one person's lies define them. And it's the courage to keep digging, even when the shadows push back. Let me ask you, what would you have done? When is it right to fight, to shine a light, even if you stand alone? Is justice about the law or about doing what's right for those who can't fight for themselves? Share your story, your thoughts, right down below. I want to hear. When have you stood up or wished you had? Let's talk about what justice really means for us and for the folks counting on us to carry the truth all the way home.